Today we're doing Module 6 Quadratic Functions, A.REI.4 Level 3 Reteach. Solve the following quadratic equations by completing the square. Round to the nearest hundredths if necessary. So whenever we're doing completing of the square, we need to make sure that we have it always set equal to C and A equals 1. If you don't have A equals 1, then you can't use this to help us get the number to both sides, and I call that my magic number. And I'm going to go into that in detail in just a moment. Let me write that better. C equals B over 2 squared. So taking a look at this first one, I need to make sure I have C by itself. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add 51 to both sides, and I get 8B squared minus 16B equals 42. Then I have to divide by 8 because I need to get B squared only to a 1. 2b equals 5.25. Then I use my equation to get my, I call it a magic number. So what do we put in there? We put the number in front of b, which is -2. And then we put that over 2 squared, and this is a b. And then you're going to get c equals, and then you get -1 squared, and then I get c equals 1. I call this 1 my magic number. It's not magical, but that's the one I have to put on both sides. So it's b squared minus 2b plus 1 equals 5.25 plus 1. And then the other number, if I show all my steps, I know exactly what goes underneath the radical, the -1. So I put the -2 down, and then I get equals 6.25. Then you take the square root from both sides. Keep in mind when you have an exponent of 2, you have to give me 2 answers. You have b minus 1 equals, and then I'm going to get plus or minus 2.5, and then I do b minus 1 equals -2.5, or b minus 1 equals positive 2.5. And I get b equals -1.5, or b equals 3.5. Taking a look at the next one. So this one is good to go, except that we have a 4, which we don't like, so we have to divide by 4. So we get a squared plus 1.5a equals 32.5. And then I do c equals b over 2 squared, and c equals, and what am I going to put in there? 1.5 over 2 squared. And then I get c equals, and I'm going to get 0.75 squared. And finally, I'm going to get my magic number, which would be 0.5625. That's my magic number. So that's the one that goes on both sides of my equation. So I have a squared plus 1.5. Then I put a plus 0.5625 equals 32.5 plus 0.5625. So now what goes underneath the radical is the blue. So I would get a plus 0.75, and then I square it equals, and then I add those two on the right hand side, and I get 33.0625. At this point, I take the square root, and then this goes away, and you get a plus 0.75 equals, and I get plus or minus 5.75. Then I do a plus 0.75 equals -5.75, or a plus 0.75 equals 5.75. Minus 0.75 minus 0.75, and I'm going to get a equals -6.5, or I'm going to subtract 0.75, a equals 5. Taking a look at my next one. Again, we want to get c by itself. So when I do that, I would get 5n squared minus 20n, and that would equals 41. Then you need to divide by 5, and then you're going to get n squared minus 4n equals 8.2. So c equals b over 2 squared. C equals, and make sure you get the sign, negative 4 over 2 squared. C equals negative 2 squared, and C equals 4. So my magic number is 4, and the one that goes underneath the radical is negative 2. So I'm going to go over here, and I'm going to do n squared minus 4n, magic number 4, equals 8.2, magic number 4. Underneath the radical, I'm going to do n minus 2 squared. That's the one right above. Equals, and I get 12.2. Take the square root. I'm going to get n minus 2 equals plus or minus 3.49. So n minus 2 equals negative 3.49. or n minus 2 equals positive 3.49. And what I do is I add 2 to both sides, and I get n equals negative 1.49 or 5.49. N equals 5.49. Taking a look at the last one. So the last one, again, it's in the right form, so I'm going to divide by 3, and then I'm going to get over here, I'm going to have b squared plus 5 over 3b equals 100 over 3. So, So I'm going to get c equals, and then I'm going to have b over 2 squared, and I have c equals 5 over 3 squared, which is really c equals 5 over 3 times 1 over 2 squared. Then you multiply across, and you get c equals 5 over 6 squared, or c equals 25 over 6. This is my magic number, and this is the one that goes underneath the radical. So I'm going to come here, and I'm going to do b over 2 plus 5 over 3b, and then I'm going to put in my magic number as 25 over 6 equals 100 over 3 plus 25 over 6. Underneath the radical is going to be b plus 5 over 6 squared. Equals, and then you're going to need to get a common denominator. My common denominator is 36. So this is 36. When it's 36 is your magic number. I didn't think about that. So it's 36. And then that's going to be, I have to multiply this by 12 to get 36. I'm going to get 1200 and over 25. And then you're going to have b plus 5 over 6 squared equals 1,225 over 36. At this time, I'm going to take my radical, and then you get b 5 over 6 equals plus or minus 35 over 6, because this is 36. Now, you have to have two answers. So you have b plus 5 over 6 equals negative 35 over 6, or b plus 5 over 6 equals positive 35 over 6. Subtract 5 6, and b equals negative 40 over 6. And then if I subtract 5 again, and I get b equals positive 30 over 6. So your answer is negative 40 over 6, and b equals 30 over 6. So let's take a look at this. Next one, we're going to be changing forms. We're going to be changing vertex to standard form. So how I do it is I like to write it twice and then I FOIL. So y equals 2, and then I do x squared minus 2x plus 4. And then I do y equals 2, combine like terms. And then I do y equals 2. And then I need to distribute this across. And I get 2x squared plus 8x plus 8 minus 3. And then I do y equals 2x squared plus 8x plus 5. Taking a look at the next one, again, I like to write it twice and actually do the FOIL so that I don't make a mistake. Put a bracket, x squared minus 8x minus 8x plus 64 plus 5. So I get y equals negative 3. And I get 8x minus 16x plus 64 plus 5. Finally, I need to distribute, and I get y equals negative 3x squared plus 48x minus 192 plus 5. And then I get y equals negative 3x squared plus 48x minus 187. Now, I'm going to stop this video because I know I'm not going to finish the second part of this worksheet. So make sure you watch the second part to get the last 3 questions. Thanks for listening.